Discipleship Radio.
Shabbat Shalom, Semet Salam. Here. Beginning again with yeah. Here. Beginning with first of the Torah reading and feedings here. New semester, new year. Happy holidays, and season right here. Shalom, Chaverim, Shalom. Here, LOJ.
We need to establish a world where there is no discrimination, no oppression, no exploitation. We need to dismantle the shackles of hate and destruction, because love are the healing force where King Selassie prescribed it for all nation and nation. To embrace the feeling of love, it is very important. It compels the heart for justification. So all the man we are dealing with love, let me see you touch with one hand, right? All the man, let me see. I love all the woman, yeah man. Where's the color? Don't know how them say that you don't have no love. You don't know so red, gold and green are the color for the earth. You know me I saw them say. Even the stoplight, you know me I say. So all I want to deal with love, say Holy Emmanuel.
Yes. Shalom, Chaverim, Shalom. Here we rewind to the beginning. We fulfilled 54th sabbatical study, Shabbat strong, fulfilled that Torah reading and feeding it from the 54th, the end of the book of Deuteronomy, the end of the Torah of Moshe. We begin again at the beginning, right? As Robbeinu Yeshua HaMoshiach, it says in the scripts, and beginning at Moshe, beginning at Moses and all of the prophets. So right here, Shabbat Shalom, Semet Salam. What a season, about 23 days for the Shalosh, the third of the three times of the Shalosh Regalim, with the Day of Trumpets, with Yom HaKippurim, and then with the Shabuah the strong, long celebration of tabernacles. Hope and pray that one's harvest of the fruit of the Spirit, based on that word of Abba Father by Shem Yeshua, is growing, is budding, is bearing good fruit. The ingathering of the crops at the end of the year, corresponding with tabernacles here in the season. So here, we have Bereishit, beginning with Genesis, what's called Genesis, or in the beginning, right here.
Jump! Rastafari. Jump!
Semet Salam, Shabbat Shalom. A song for days of resting inside your home. Semet Salam, Shabbat Shalom. Semet Salam, Shabbat Shalom. A song for days of resting inside your home. Semet Salam, Shabbat Shalom.
So here's a portion of the season that's out of the season, in season with the 7 feast festivals, appointments. And so right here, we're out of that time for the next 5 months, the 5 moons. Some people consider these 5 months until we come to Pesach, till we come to Abib again, as times of study. So here we begin our studies with the first book of Moshe, the Hebrew book that's known as Bereishit, aka the book of Genesis. So here the season is known as no feast, no festival. All right, no feast, no festival. First 7 months, 7 moons. We had the 7 appointments, 7 feasts, the 7 festivals, and 3 seasons. So this is known as no feast, no festivals, with one exception, of course, and that is the Shabbat day, the Shabbat. So Shabbat Shalom, Semet Salam.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew.
Shabbat, 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 yes it is a Shabbat day. Shabbat day. Shabbat, Shabbat, holy Shabbat, yes it is the holy day. Holy day. Shabbat, 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 yes it is the Shabbat day. Shabbat day. Shabbat, Shabbat, holy Shabbat, yes it is the holy day. Work all week and now it's time to rest. Cook up the food and everything bless. Lay back and pull the scriptures out. Family reading what it's all about. Giving full attention to the most high of creation. He hallowed it and made it a holy day. Separation. To be one with the most high and feel his essence. Destructions of the world have to be absent. We have to remember the fourth commandment until thy kingdom come. Shabbat, 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 yes it is a Shabbat day. Shabbat day. Shabbat, Shabbat, holy Shabbat, yes it is the holy day. Holy day. Shabbat, 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 yes it is the Shabbat day. Shabbat day. Shabbat, Shabbat, holy Shabbat, yes it is the holy day. Holy day. I'm duty free from my responsibility for servitude. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's what the Father said we're supposed to do. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by the words that proceeded by him that sit up on the highest throne. From the heaven to the earth, angel and man abstain from work, just as it was from in the first. Why should I divert? Even lovers take vacation, traveling and spending time one-on-one. It's a way of strengthening their union. We should do the same thing with the Almighty One. Shabbat, 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 yes it is a Shabbat day. Shabbat day. Shabbat, Shabbat, holy Shabbat, yes it is the holy day. Holy day. Shabbat, 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 yes it is the Shabbat day. Shabbat day. Shabbat, Shabbat, holy Shabbat, yes it is the holy day.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Shabbat Shalom, Senbet Salam. That day, that day.
Yeah, I would just say give thanks. You don't know reggae.fr. You know the something go for the blessing, for the defending of the reggae music since 25 years. You don't know reggae 24/7, the best music, enough respect, Sasha and the whole crew. You know the thing got the king of fire. Reggae.fr. What am I chat about? King of fire. Hurry them up. Equal rights and justice for all, rise and never fall. Boom. So what they gonna do? Well, no for them not true. Them this reggae FR and get slew, yeah. Who do you think you are? We're living in a small world. Small world. As wicked as you think you are, we're living in a small world. Small world. Bad as you think you are, we're living in a small world. As you think you are, we're living in a reggae that far high. That day will come when I shall stand and see all those wicked men in the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape, when they will be nowhere to run. That day will come when I shall see them handing over bombs and bayonets and bullets and guns. That day will come when Emperor Selassie shall rise the whole of the reggae FR youth them from the slum, yeah. And that day I will love to see their face, for all those who related to the human race. And and try to take things out of place. Run away to space, shoot them in a ace. Wow. Of your word and judgment, you want go get a taste. When them find out say that them can't escape, sadness they send and the people them chase. Smile on my face, that day will come when I shall stand and see all those wicked men in the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape, when there will be nowhere to run. That day will come when I shall see they handing over bombs and bayonets and bullets and guns. That day will come when Emperor Selassie I shall rise the whole of the reggae FRU them from the slum. Can't escape today, can't escape tomorrow. Make sure you pay back anytime you borrow. Make sure you don't let no life in a sorrow. Make sure you're lean and straight like arrow. Make sure your brains don't push out in a barrow. Make sure you don't make them walk out and paro. Yeah, make sure your meditation and narrow. Reggae that FR, alright then, take it up. I will remain the same, in Rastafari name. I watch them going up in flames. For all those innocent going down the drain, you have to pay for these shackles and chains, and pay for these washing of the brain, and pay for these guns and cocaine, the sick and the lame. Oh, that day will come when I shall stand and see all those wicked men in the fire getting burned. That day will come when they will try to escape, and there will be nowhere to run. That day will come when I shall see they handing over bombs and bayonets and bullets and guns. That day will come when Emperor Selassie I shall rise the whole of the reggae. They find them from the slum. Keep it burning, in a fire, young cool. Reggae that is far, coming from so far. Oh, over 25 years, playing reggae music, defending the music. We never yet refuse it. I know we're not gonna lose it. We're not gonna confuse it. Reggae that is far, when we conclude it. Bless up.
Chazak, chazak, vanit chazek. As we say, when we complete a book of the Torah, completing the Torah reading and feedings and beginning again in the season, chazak, chazak, be strong, be encouraged, chazak, be strong, be encouraged, vanit chazek, vanit chazek, and make I and I, vanit chazek, encourage, strengthen one another. Here. Sister Fuba.
Zion, I well see them proposing, yo, Eden go down. I always try who's on your side, and now always remember, be strong in this time. Eden rage when the righteous climb. Never let them get you down. Keep your mind now. Pollute the Sabbath, you pollute mankind. Remember, be strong in this time. Eden rage when the righteous climb. Never let them get you down. Keep your mind and pollute your brother, you pump. Everyone should know that your heart must be clean. Rasta love it when you no juggle righteous. Teach the ghetto youth of self-esteem. Stop the ghetto youth them from live corrupt. Failing to see us as true human beings. Pharaoh ordinary mode, moving tough, maintaining an evilous regime, preventing the ghetto youth from rising up. So come we come on them ghetto kings and queen. Eden a tremble, physically rope. Me know little flowers Ethiopian stream. In Emperor Selassie I put all your trust. Yes, black woman, wake up from your dream in the fantasy world. Don't get stuck. Babylon I got turn it into a bloody scene. Gideon start them, so them gonna go rust. Me tell them so slavery did more than mean. Who can stop it? The revolution bust upon the wicked man shoulder. Never Mussolini. Go tell them so repatriation that is a must. I herbalist myself to keep it all is clean. From me bless black people with the herb in a liquor. Could the royal nation not touch on the scene? But tell Babylon so them feel look but not touch. Always remember, be strong in this line. Eden rage when the righteous climb. Never let them get you down. Keep your mind now. Pollute your brother, you pollute mankind. Remember, be strong in this time. Eden rage when the righteous climb. Never let them get you down. A firm mind now. Pollute your sister, you pollute. The teachings are for the humble. Reaches on to the pure and the simple. Keep you calm and you elude all rumble. Fight against the righteous heart and then you stumble. Neatly designed and properly placed are the traps of the wicked. Check how they meditate to disrupt the upright, deceiving grace. They have no desire for love or taste. Teaching the truth they neglect and forsake. Taking it for granted, whose mistake? I say rise and be great. Never stop strive, there is no time for breaks. Always remember, be strong in this time. Eden rage when the righteous law. Never let them get you down. Keep your mind now. Pollute your brother, you pollute mankind. Remember, be strong in this time. Eden rage you and the righteous climb. Never let them get you down. Keep your mind now. Pollute your sister, you pollute. Love is the heart that them can't go around. Trying to be clever, only prove to be a clown. Rastafari them with words, powers and sound. Mystery Babylon, I see that you're going down. Youth, always remember, be strong in this time. Eden rage when the righteous climb. Never let them get you down. Keep your mind now. Pollute your brother, you pollute. Always remember, be strong in this time.
Shabbat Shalom. Send that salam. Send that salam. Send that salam.
Lion of Judah shall break every chain.
So here, Bereishit, Parashat Bereishit. So here in the season, it seems like a double portion. We just completed the Wazot HaBaraka, 54th sabbatical study, Shabbat Strong, Deuteronomy 33 to 34. Then we rewind right here, on the Shabbat after the Simchat Torah, the joy of the Torah. Rewind and begin again with Bereishit. Bereishit in the beginning, Genesis chapter 1. We have Genesis chapter 1 to chapter 6, verse 8. Torah reading, Haftarah, the prophet's reading, Haftarah, Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 42, focus verses 5 to chapter 43, verse 11. In the Brit Chadash, renewed covenant reading, we have John's Gospel, John chapter 1, focus verses 1 to 14. Colossians chapter 1, focus verses 15 to 17. And the Epistle to the Hebrews, chapter 1, focus verses 1 to 3. So here we begin the discipleship sabbatical studies. Here again, here's the LOJ page right here. All right, you can look up keywords LOJS.org, Torah and portion, LOJS, Torah portion, and should lead the eye to the archives page right here to see the previous for Sukkot. Happy Sukkot, Tabernacle, Simchat Torah, Feast of Booths of Tabernacles, also the Feast of Ingathering. So we have both the natural, right, the twofold, the Hebrew two truths, right, the natural aspect, building a sukkah, building a hut, abiding in it for the 7 days, right, the first day and the 8th day being like holy convocation, gathering days, we could say churchical days, right? Also, the season known as the Feast of the Ingathering of the crops, the ingathering, right? That's like the natural, we'd say in the earthly type. But then we also have the spiritual application. The Word became flesh and dwelt and tabernacled with us. How is it going? How is it growing? How's that Word growing, right? In the ground of I and I being, and what sort of crops, what sort of fruits are being produced. So there's what's called the 9 fruit, right, or the fruit of the Holy Spirit, right, according to the Brit Chadash. This is also very interesting and applicable areas of our study and application. So there's the two truths. Some might look at it just on the natural sense. Okay, we build the literal hut, tabernacle, or we gather in the crops, which is very necessary. That's a blessing there. But also there's the two truths. As Moshiach, Rabbeinu Yeshua said, if I show you earthly things, and you cannot receive or understand them, how would you understand heavenly things? So if he shows outer things, the outer things, so we have these outer things, right? But then also there's the inner things, right? This is where we come into the presence of the King. So right here, once again, we're in the, what one might call the regular season, right? After the high holy season. And truly the 23 days to like almost a full month was a good fullness. And I hope and pray, as we say, that word, the word of truth, is growing in the ground of one's being, and also one is reaping the fruit, the good fruit of the truth of the King of Kings Christ. So here we have this week's, the Torah reading and feeding. It's not really a full week right here, since the Shabbat already is here. Actually, after this, we actually picking up with the second Torah reading and feeding. So it's kind of a quick time, for the study right here. But of course, we have the time and opportunity to review. As Bereishit, Genesis, the Genesis reading is the core. It's like the groundation. It's like class. It's like where we begin. And for many of I and I, where we begin again. So here, going to the LOJS site, once again, to show ones how we get here. See at the top right there, LOJS.org, within the search bar, LOJS.org, right there. All right, put that in your search. All right, when you put that in your search right there, it should, right, bring this up right here, LOJS, Line of Judah Society, right? You see the two links, with the mescal right there, right? And this week's Torah portion archives, and also the Torah readings below it. Clicking on the first one right here, right, bringing us here, right? This week's Torah portion, the reading and feeding. That was from the Rosh Hashanah 2023. Yeah, hopefully, maybe we can update that, but still, right there. We love that picture there. Commandment Keepers, Congregation, Living God, Rabbi Wentworth Authors Matthews, and the Chabarim right there. So here, clicking on this page here, just a kind of a basic overview. Here we have this week's, the first of the Torah readings and feedings. It's also the schedule. One can download the schedule. Click here to download right there. Bereishit, in the beginning. The Amharic there, well, first the Hebrew, reading from left to right. Bereishit, translated as in the beginning. Bamarinya and Amharic of the King of Kings Bible. beMejemmeriya, beMejemmeriya. beMejemmeriya. So we have the Torah reading and feedings to download. Here's what's before us right here, the Torah reading. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 to chapter 6, verse 8. So we have the aliyot. Usually it's the aliyah a day. Now, it's interesting how the Sabbath came forward right here at the conclusion of the season, right? Not really affording us that opportunity. So might have to double up on with studies right here. This is almost like a double portion right here, right? So here we bring forward the Bereishit, the Genesis reading, Bereishit, right? In the beginning, as it's translated. We don't think that the translation there in the beginning is full when looked at in the light of the Hebrew, but provisionally we'll go with that for right now. In the beginning, Bereishit, right? First reading, right? 1.1, first reading. Usually the aliyot you see here is like for when ones would say a chapter a day, right? Some of the previous generation of the Rastafari would say, and this is still a good principle, reading a chapter a day. We say, well, study an aliyah day. It's good to read, right? And with the reading, it's better to study. So the first reading is Genesis chapter 1. So the first aliyah, right, 1.1, 1.2, the second. So the Hebrew, the Rishon, right? Aliyah, the Shani, the second Aliyah, the second reading, right? The third Aliyah. So usually this will be like for the days, right? We can apply this for the days of the week. So with the usual Torah reading and feedings, after the Shabbat comes in the first day, and the first day brings in the new Torah reading and feeding for the new Shabuah, for the new 7 days, or the Shabuah to say week, right? So there's the first day that the Gentiles and others nowadays call Sunday. For us, it's the Yom HaRishon, the Yom Day Ha the Rishon, the day of the first, or the head day, which is the first day. So that'll be like what they call Sunday, right? The second day will be what they call Monday, right? Yom HaSheni, then the Yom HaShalishi. Yom is day, the day of the first, the head day, the second day, the third day, corresponding with the breakdown and the build of the aliyot. The aliyot are the readings, the goings up to read, right? So a good application here, sharing some best practices and procedures for the Chabarim and the Talmudim. We touched on this previously. Going to build on this a little more in the reason at the Talmudim. Talmud means disciple, right? Talmud is disciple, and the Talmudim are the disciples. Talmudav, Talmudayo are like his disciples. So being the King of Kings Christ, the Moshiach Yeshua, Ha-Notri, Jesus Christos, Jesus of Nazareth, disciples, right? According to the way, truth, and life of the King of Kings Christ, the study of Torah is very, very key, right? As is mentioned in, bring up the verses. Where's the verses? It's in a New Covenant reading where he began at Moshe, right? Beginning at Moshe, right? Beginning at Moshe. Let's see if we can bring this up right here. Beginning at Moses. Where is it? Beginning at Moses. Give me one moment right here, because this is important to, make this connection right here with what is discipleship. Okay, here, yeah. It's Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 to 18. All right, so let's see if we can go there right here. Matthew chapter 5. Let's do it like this right here. Window flip around. All right, let's take this as part of this Torah reading and feeding right here. Well, let's bring this up. Matthew chapter 5. So also this is another principle that we find spoken of in the scriptures. Line upon line, precept upon precept. What? Here a little and there a little. So verses 17 and 18. Let's take this in KJV Light, 17 and 18, first point of reference, where it says, think not that I am come to destroy the law. The law, contextually speaking, ha-Torah, right? Or the prophets, ha-Nabim. Ha-Nabim, Nabiim or in modern Hebrew, some might say with a soft B, Nevi'im, 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 Nebi'im, Nebi'im, Nevi'im, right? I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Right? Words of Robenu, Aina Rabbi, the Rabbi of Rabbis, Ha'adon Yeshua HaMoshiach. Verse 18, it says, for verily, or for truth, in truth, right, I say to you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from Ha-Torah, till all, right, be fulfilled, till all be fulfilled. So here, let's also go over here to Luke chapter 24. Luke chapter 24, just to get some principles. First words, first principles. Chapter 24, verses 44, right? 44. There we go, right there. Verses 44 to 45. Words of Moshiach, words of Robenu, words of Aina Rabbi, the Rabbi of Rabbis, Yeshua HaMoshiach, Yeshua HaNotri, Justice of Nazareth. Here, and he said to them, right? So remember, he is the master. He is Harab, right? Rabboni, Aina Rabbi. So he says to them, and the them there's the Talmudim. As we mentioned, disciples of Yeshua, right, are called in the Hebraically, Talmudim. I know that word sounds a lot similar. We have Talmud, right, the person, right? Talmud, the disciple, and the Talmud is the teaching. A lot of people are kind of confused about these terms because of those who say they are, and the rest right there. But this is the word Talmudim. It comes from the Hebrew word lamad, right? Lamad, to learn, limaid, to teach, right? So among other things, then, following Ha-Moshiach, the Messiah, Moshiach, Bein Elohim, right? Chaim, the Son of the living God, right? The King of Kings, Christ. Yes, it means becoming a student or a disciple, right, of the scriptures. To say of the word that's contained and found in the scriptures, right, that Robenu, Adonenu, love, right, and also fulfill. So first, we shared the Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 to 18. And here, I think this is important to share right here, since we are actually beginning. This is a good time to begin, right? And this is a good place in the Torah reading and feedings to begin. I know everything is moving, at a lively pace. We just come out of the holy season, right? Usually between the Simchat Torah, the joy of the Torah, right? We usually have maybe a couple of days, to adjust, right? But in this time and season, the holy season was fulfilled. What was that on the Yom HaChamishi? On the fifth day, I think it was a Thursday. Right. Then we had that was the eighth day. It was on the Wednesday, was the seventh day, and the eighth day. I'm talking about the season. So ones who might be hearing this, whether this become a evergreen audible in the future, just to say that in this season, the 2024 season and time, everything was close. You know what I mean? So it fulfilled at the fullness of the Shabuah, which then brought us fully into the regular schedule. So Sabbath, the Shabbat, is in season, out of season. When we say in season, this is pointing to Leviticus. I know we spent a lot of time on Leviticus, right? Leviticus chapter 23, because there we get the fullness of the covenantal appointments, the feasts, the festivals, the appointments, like being in a covenant, right? There are that which we must fulfill, the certain appointments. We have to keep eye and eye appointments. The first of all the appointments is the Shabbat, right? The weekly Shabbat. Now, as there's the weekly Shabbat, this is where a lot of confusion comes in when we talk about Sabbath, and even in the time of the crucifixion, there's some confusion that creeps in because there are two types of Sabbaths. Well, there's Sabbath, but it has two applications. Let's put it like that. In a sense, there are two types. There's the weekly Sabbath, Shabbat, the seventh day Shabbat, and then there's the rest day, right? There's the rest day, the no work day, the ceasing from occupational labor day of the feast and festival. For example, with tabernacles, with Sukkot, Feast of Booths, the Chag HaSukkot, we have the first day that would be a Mikra Kodesh. Mikra, called out assembly, Kodesh, set apart, called out assembly. To use the words, the translated words of Stephen, Saint Stephen, the first martyr in the Acts of the Apostles. Well, first martyr, of course, after the Moshiach, in that sense. He's the first witness. Martyr means witness. The first martyr after Moshiach, we had Stephen, and Stephen spoke about the church in the wilderness. So you'll find in the King James translation, it has the phrase Mikra Kodesh, or actually in the English KJV, it would be Slicha. It would be Holy Convocation. We touched on that previously, I think, in the previous podcast. We went into a little bit of depth right there. Mikra, from kara, to call out. Mikra, also to call out, to recite, to proclaim, even to read, to kara. Mikra, right? An outcalled, a calling out. This is the root idea of the later word in the Greek for church, ecclesia. Ek, or ek. Then the Greek is ek. Nowadays, from the Greek is we say X. X is like out of, like Exodus, like out of, right? Ek, kaleo, kaleo in the Koine Greek means to call. So it's interesting because actually that word there in the Koine Greek, right, was shaped based on the Hebrew, right? The Hebrew sense of the Holy Convocation. So on the first day is a Holy Convocation, right? And says no servile work. Right, even specifically in the Hebrew instructions, it speaks about Shabbaton. So there's the Sabbath of the feasts and the festivals. Like usually the principle is like the first and last day. The first and last day. The intermediate days are usually days that we might engage in other occupation, right? But still keeping the theme, the vibe, we could say, of the season, right? The intermediate days, right? So there's the Sabbath, the weekly Sabbath, which is like kind of like the test command. The weekly Sabbath prepares us for the Shabbat, the rest, or the ceasing from work. So the key sense of Shabbat is ceasing from labor, from activity. That's why it says in the word of the commandment, 6 days you shall work, and on the seventh day. So just to focus all on the rest, and nothing on the work is not fulfilling that word right there. So just to point that out right here. So here we're moving into the time where it's often said, no feast, no festival. In the first 7 months, we know we have 7 appointments and we have feasts and festivals, right? The Mo'edim, right? After we move out of these 7 months, for the remaining 4 to 5 months, there's no feast, no festival, with one exception, that's the Shabbat. The Shabbat is the first of the holy or set apart days, right? And it becomes the principle, right? The principle that's applied even during the respective feast and festival seasons, whether during the Passover time, the harvest time, or even the later harvest known as tabernacles or ingathering time that we have just come through. But here, once again, to this particular word, right, becoming a student, right, or a disciple, right, of the King of Kings Christ, of the Moshiach Yeshua, right, and that is study of the scripture, right? So Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 to 18 that we just read, that was a principle there. Take note, take note, take note. Also, it's something that we all have to do, including myself. I used to be diligent on it, but that diligence is good because what happens, taking notes and taking study notes. Those who have not gotten into the regular discipline, I hope and pray that you're able to get into a regular discipline. Get like a copybook, like a notebook, a copybook. Usually we prefer composition notebooks. Some might prefer the spiral notebooks. We've used that as well, but get a composition notebook or a couple of them and just livicate it to the discipleship studies, the Torah studies. You know what I mean? So here, if you have a copy, you could begin off here, say like, okay, RSS number 1, the Rastafari sabbatical study number 1, or number 1, the first Torah reading and feeding. Here we have Parashat Bereishit. So here, beginning at the first, there's some first words, right? First words we'd like to share, some first words we would like to go over again, some first words to kind of put in your ear, here again. So here we have Luke chapter 24, verse 44, and he, Robeinu, Ainai Rabbi, Adonenu, Ainai Sovereign Lord, speaking of Yeshua HaNotzvi, Jesus of Nazareth, who we know in the fulfillment is Moshiach. He is the anointed, right? The anointed in what sense? The anointed, as Hebrews, Fist of the Hebrews says, anointed high priest of I profession, I confession, I fashion. Yes, the Bain Elohim, the son of the power of the Almighty, Bain Elohim Chaim, the son of the living God. So what does he say to us? You remember it says, this is my beloved son. You remember one of the readings during Sukkot was concerning transfiguration. Remember the transfiguration where they ascended into the mount, Yeshua and the two other disciples, they ascended into the mount, right? And Yeshua's garment was transfigured, transformed, and they saw Eliyahu, they saw Elijah and Moshe, right, standing there. And they remember Petro, right, the three of the disciples, yeah, Petros, right. What did he say? What did he say? He said, this is a good spot for us right here. You know, let us build three, what he said, tabernacles. And then the voice from Shemaim, from Shemaima came. Right? This is my beloved son. Hear ye him. So let's hear him, right? And also the teaching of the King of Kings, Kedamawi Haile Selassie, confirms the same thing. In fact, I point once to the autobiography of Moa Andes Emnegeda Yehuda, Gormawi Kedamawi Haile Selassie, Siyume Exabi, Negusa Negesa, Ethiopia. The full of the title, Conquering Lion of the Tribe of Judah, His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie the first power of the Trinity, Negusa Negesa, Ethiopia, the King of Kings of Ethiopia, Siyume Exabi, the elect of God. Confirms the same thing even within the Mekdem, the foreword. This is the areas that we're going to seek to go into to study, to give a groundation to these teaching. Give us a teaching of his magic, we don't want no devil's philosophy. Here we have Luke chapter 24, verse 44. And he said to them, these, the words, these the Debarim, that I spake to you while I was yet with you, that all things must be fulfilled, that were written in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms concerning me. So these are the focus areas of I Rastafari Discipleship Royal Order of the Ethiopian Hebrew Studies. These three right here, this Trinity, these three, right? The law of Moses, of Moshe, speaking of Torah, right? And the prophets, the Nabim. Also, we have the Haftarah, right? And the Psalms, the Tehillim, right? Concerning me, right? Then open he their understanding that they might understand the scriptures, right? That they might understand the scriptures, right? So beginning at Moshe, right? As it says, beginning at Moshe, beginning at Moses, and all the prophets, right? That's another verse as well, but hopefully this will be a good, a good groundation. Why is this important? Because only after studying to shew ourselves approved, right? It's only after study to show ourselves approved, we shall know the truth, right? As it says right here, opened. Right, they understand. I heard someone say something, I don't know what their name is, and it's not no personal thing, but they said something about the Bible. They seem to defend the Bible. And they said, well, in the Bible, there's a spirit. They were saying, oh, in the spirit, there's a spirit in the Bible. I got what they meant. I think I get what they meant. Let me be humble. I think I get what they meant, but by them saying the spirit is in the Bible, no. Within the Bible, there's a knowledge that can be accessed. Right? In the scripture, there's a knowledge. There's the knowledge of the truth that can be accessed. But one has to have the spirit in themselves. So the one that I was listening to, I don't know the person's name, but they was seeking to defend the Bible. They were saying how there's a spirit in the Bible. I was like, there's a spirit in the Bible? The Bible is a book, right? No, there is knowledge within the word that can be discerned. It's like when Rabbi Shaul, aka the Apostle Paul, when it speaks about the letter of the law, like the letter of the law and the spirit, right? So it is through studying of the letter, like studying the word, studying the scripture, hearing the word, right? But it's the spirit. The spirit must be within I and I. And that kind of connects again with the higher reasoning, the Berit Hadash reading and reasoning, right? For tabernacles. The word became flesh, right? And how Robeno Yeshua likens the word to a seed, right? And how that seed, when planted in good ground, right? Psychologically today, right? But yet Yeshua, of course, was before them, right? He was before Abraham, so he's before them too. In modern psychology, they talk about the ground of being. You might hear one say, the ground of being and the ground of our being, right? The ground, right? So like our consciousness, our being is likened to a ground, right? And for some, they would be like, well, that is science. And that's, yeah, it is. But it's actually exactly what the Bible is saying, exactly what Robeno, I teacher is saying, right? So only after learning, like studying, right, to show ourselves approved and learning from Yeshua as I rabbi and we as Talmudim. You see, we can get into the parables because Yeshua speaks at length on that. When he says it is enough that the disciple is as their master or teacher or rabbi, right? This is an interesting principle that he said right there, right? It's enough for the disciple to be as their rabbi. It reminded me of some of the old Hail Up Ron Seymour, We Reason, Just Vibes, and many times some of the item I have caught it, but he was, some of them on the Kung Fu, the Chinese and the Kung Fu movies. One thing I remember about the Kung Fu movies, you ever see where there's like a disciple that want to learn, he want to learn this new, some old or some style of martial arts, and because somebody's beating him up, so he want to he want to learn that. And then there's this whole kind of thing that's often in the movies where at first he just want to know, like, just teach me this style, right? But now the master is going through like, well, carry the water buckets, and he's like, oh no, I don't want to carry the water bucket. So he's like kind of rebellious, a little bit rasha, don't you think? A little bit defiant, even wicked, but a little defiant. But then eventually he gets it. And sometimes there's a theme of the disciple now, wanting to, test and replace their master. To a certain point, if you notice, if you pay attention to the movie, to a certain point it's good, right? Because you want to know that one has, drive and motivation, but still to keep that respectability. But on the whole rabbi and Talmud thing, we are applying this strictly with Yeshua, right? The King of Kings Christ and I. Because this is exactly what Yeshua is saying in the scripture, what he is saying in the Brit Chadash, especially in the Gospels, which we refer to as Yeshua's Talmud. I know that's kind of like, because people have these crazy ideas because they have only studied the Hebrew. Once again, disciples, right, and the disciples of Yeshua are called Talmudim, the plural. Talmud, the singular. That come from the Hebrew lamad. Lamad means to learn. Limaid means to teach. It can mean to learn, to teach, but the pointing is important. Lamad, to learn. Limaid, to teach, right? So among other things, following Yeshua, like following Christ. Like a lot of people say, well, I'm a Christian. Okay, no problem. Because I guess if we said before we're Nazarene or we're Messiah, I used to say the same thing. It's just in the Greek language and coming down to English today. But this means becoming a disciple. So often you hear one say that they're a Christian, but you often don't hear people say that they're a disciple. And then when we go to the master speaks about becoming disciples or becoming students. In other words, the principle again, study to shew ourselves approved. Study so we can know the truth for ourselves. So becoming a student, of the scriptures, right? That Yeshua testifies that he loves and he fulfills, right? Only after learning from Yeshua as I and I teacher will we be equipped. You see, there is the equipping. In fact, there's another area in the New Testament where it talks about being equipped. You know, that ye may be equipped. I don't remember the KJV exact translation of it right now, but be equipped. I'll look it up, right? Though, right here, that we may be equipped to do what? To go ye therefore and teach all nations. So you got a lot of folks running around talking about the gospel and this and that, but are they prepared? Right? Are they really sure? Right? Go y'all therefore and do what? See, now let's scroll over here. Right? So Yeshua said to who? This is interesting too, right here, what it says. Then the 11 Talmudim disciples went away into Galilee, Galilee, into Galilee, into a mountain. Where was he? Into a mountain, right? Like the Bahitawi, right? Like into a mountain where Yeshua had appointed them, right? This is the interesting part, verse 17, right? And when they saw him, this is after the crucifixion, the death, the burial, and the resurrection, and this is prior to the ascension. And when they saw him, they worshiped him, but some doubted. That's it right there. You know what I mean? They worshiped him, but some doubted. Right? Going on. Right? Now these are the disciples, so we just know who this is speaking to. Right? We just want to know who this is speaking to. Right? Not just throw a verse out there, but put it into context. And Yeshua came and spake to them, saying, "All power is given to me in heaven and earth." Let's define power. Right, let's define power. We're gonna put we put it on the took it off of KJV light. Right, where it says all power. Okay, here it goes. All power. Which kind of power? Power here is exousia. Right, exousia in the Koine Greek. Exousia. This will correspond to Sultan in Amharic, if we are correct, Sultan, if our memory serves us right, Sultan. And in the Hebrew, Shultan. So the Amharic Sultan, the ancient Amharic, but we have in the modern Amharic Sultan, and in the Hebrew, Shultan, like a sultan, consultant, you get that idea. But here it means power, right, in the sense of the power of choice. In fact, in Acts of the Apostles, chapter 1, right, when the disciples are gathered together and he spoke to them about them staying in Jerusalem until they get power, right? Because they asked, about, is it at this time that you're going to restore the kingdom to Israel in Acts chapter 1? And there's two powers that he speaks about. There's two types of power, right? They ask about the kingdom. Will the kingdom be restored to you? Remember at that time, the 10 tribes were scattered, were lost. He said, go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And then we had the tribe of Judah, Yehuda, and Benjamin, and Levi, but all under the heading of Yehuda, right? Still in the land, right? And he said to them that it's not, he said, it's not for you to know the times and seasons that are in the power of the Father, to say in the authority. This is what this word is right here. It's like in John chapter 1, where it said, not by flesh or blood, you understand? But it says that with those who have faith in his name, and the Shem, and the Hashem in his name, will he give the power to become the B'nai Elohim. Will he give the power, the authority, the authorization, right? So this power right here is the same power, exousia, the authorization, like when it says power of choice, liberty of doing as one pleases, right? In the sense of leave, he's been given leave, permission, right? This exousia power, this authorization power is physical, can be mental power, right? The ability or strength with which one is endued, right? It's like that word becoming flesh, right? As with Yeshua, that word, the word of Abba Father, the word of Elohim, right? Becoming flesh, incarnating, in other words. Same thing with the word, right? Even with the word of Yahweh Eloheinu, right? In our hearts and minds, in our ground, in the ground of our being, right? But producing fruit, right? Faith, right, needs to also have that manifestation, right? The fruit of faith, the work of faith, the action of faith, the fruit of faith. So here in the season for I, a good medi in this post tabernacle season, this time where physically in the land we still might be gathering in crops, gathering the crops because wintertime, right? The change of season is coming in, right? So let us count the fruit, hopefully the fruit of the Holy Spirit. But here, in speaking on power, right, which one may possess or exercise. Here we go, the third entry, right, getting straight to the point, right? The Shultan, the power, the exousia, the Sultan, the power of authority. So this can be influential or influence, and of right, like of privilege, right? Also, the fourth entry is the power of rule. The power of rule or government, the power of him whose will and commands must be submitted to by others and obeyed, right? It can have a universal application, especially with HaMoshiach, authority over humanity or mankind, specifically, right? The powers of judicial decisions, like with the judges and the officers in the Israel context, right? Of authority to manage domestic affairs, right? Interesting that the word stewardship, you've heard of the word stewardship in the New Testament scriptures. This word stewardship is where we get the sense of economy and economics. Again, the word in the New Covenant for stewardship, right, is where we get the word in modern times of economy, because the word for stewardship is oikonomos. It even sounds a little like economics, right? We say economics in the English sense, right? Coming from the old Koine Greek, oikonomos, right? Oikos is like house, and nomos is like law or regulation. So law, the regulation of a oikos, oiko, right, is a house, oikonomos. So this is the real root sense of economics. Economics is managing, right? Managing a household, right? Managing a family, managing a household, right? And also managing our own household, like not just our household as our family, but it begins from, know ye not that your bodies, right, are a temple. There's a temple of the God, right? The living God, if his spirit is dwelling. So just want to point that out as we touch on these principles here. So we begin to even see, the principles of the scripture and the real application in the world of affairs of today. So thinking about economics, right? Think about the word economics, right, is actually stewardship, right? The authority, right? The authority to manage domestic affairs. So going through these right here, you can see some of the other applications of this, right? The sign of a husband's authority over his wife, the veil with which propriety required a woman to cover herself, the sign of regal authority, for example, even upon a king, right, is that crown, right? So upon the anointed king, even the King of Kings, is that anointing and is that crown, that kind of covering that renders that authority, right? Symbolically, and we can say actually. So we have the sense of ability with this word, right? When it says all power has been given, all what? Ability, privilege, right? Subjectively, force, capacity, competency, right? Competency. There we go. Competency, right? Freedom, freeness, mastery, right? Magistrate, in some sense, one would say superhuman. Interesting book. I think it was J.A. Rogers, from Superman to Man, or something like that. Yeah, right. Delegated influence, So here where he says, all power is given to me in heaven and in earth. Then to the key word right here, go ye therefore. Remember, he said it's to his 11 what? The 11 disciples. So they were already disciples. This is what prepared them and equipped them for the being sent, right? Sent, shaliach, right? The being sent forward, right? As apostles, right? And they were to go and teach, but in the context, this is to make disciples, right? Or in a modern sense, they would translate it and understand it as making Christians, right? So you see, making a Christian of all nations, in essence, was to make a disciple, right? But sadly, sometimes you find that those who say they are believers, sometimes, are the most uninformed. That's a trick of the enemy. So let's get back to the basics right here. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, make disciples of all nations, right? So the connection of discipleship and teaching and learning, baptizing them, right? Immersing them, right? Baptizing. Look at the word baptizing, baptizo. Now, some take this on the literal sense, to dip repeatedly, to immerse, right? To cleanse by dipping, but you see where it says the third sense, to overwhelm, right? To overwhelm, right? The sense of this, remember, Yeshua spoke sometimes in earthly types, but to point to inner and heavenly types, to inner and upper types, right? So even here's another application. We told the disciples to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. They interpreted in the natural sense. They said, well, leaven makes bread, right? Right? Makes bread rise. So at the feast, we're not going to eat none of the Pharisees' bread. And they came back hungry. And Yeshua said, what do you? And it was like, well, you told us. And he said, like, don't you understand? So we're to understand. So to make overwhelm, to make them fully wet, right? Fully wet. Imagine you're dyeing something. You're dyeing like a garment, right? You're dyeing a garment, right? So you have all the dye and everything all prepared, and you just lightly dip it. It's not going to look good. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be fully dyed, right? To make fully wet, right? It says used only in the Brit Chadasha, right? They say right here, traditionally as the ablution, right? So some do get dipped in the water. They get dipped in the water, right? But they don't really get dipped in the spirit, right? Because the water is a symbol of the spirit, right? But be that as it may, right? Baptizing them in the names. Notice it doesn't say the names. It says the name, singular, in the name, right? In the name of the Father and of the Son and the Holy Spirit. Some say Trinity, right? You might say Selassie, right? Or in the Hebrew, Hashalush, right? But still it is one, right? He who he be, the one, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They say ghost, but you know how that goes. Holy Spirit. Verse 20, teaching, here's the key, teaching them, discipling them, right? And we also being the them there, right? Discipling them to observe, right? The shamar, to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, and look, I am with you always, even to the end of the world. Amen. This is such a key, significant verse. When we speak about the Messiah, or some say about Jesus coming again, or the Messiah coming again, or the second coming, so forth and so on. Yes, but notice this right here. It's almost like one's missed this part, right? Where he says that I am, right? He who he be, the great I am, is with us, is with I and I. How long? Always, right? It says always, right? Pas, right? Individually, you see individually, right? Breaking down the word pas in the Greek, pas, right? Hemera, pas hemera, every day, all the day, every day, so he's with us always, right? That's the key to know him, right? When he comes, because he's already with you. You know what I mean? Somebody that in you, in your heart, like with you recognize, you hear their voice, you were like, yeah, like what happened with Mary Magdalena. She thought he was a gardener, right? But when he called her by name, he called her by name. Remind me when when Yahweh called even Abraham and Moses and even Samuel, but he called her by name, right? And she recognized his voice. So right here, just a groundation, right, on discipleship here at the first of the sabbatical studies for this Shabbat strong right here. Every letter of Torah, right, is a teaching. So, be that as it may, right, may it as it be, right, here we have Psalm 33. Here in the season, we have Psalm 33, right? Today's daily psalm is Psalm 33. Gonna ride up with that as well. Let's take a little Selah moment. Let's get through the basics of the Torah reading and feeding right here. Since this is at the first, let's see if we can do this right here. Once again, right here, we have this Torah reading and feeding for Bereishit, right here at the LOJS.org Torah portion site. First reading, first Aliyah, second, third, all the way to the seventh. Then we have the prophets reading, right? What do you say? Beginning with what? Beginning with Moses, right, and all of the prophets. So the prophet reading, right, or called the Haftarah reading, Isaiah chapter 42, verses 5 to 43, verse 10. Let's just touch on this as well, just briefly right here. Let's just grab my notes right here to share. The Haftarah. So often you might see it referred to as the Haftarah. What is the Haftarah? The Haftarah, it refers to the additional portion. So after the Torah reading, right, that's the Aliyah and the Aliyot. Aliyah is like the first Aliyah, second Aliyah, all of them all together is the Aliyot, right? The Aliyot refer, right, to smaller sections of the weekly portion, the weekly reading, the weekly, we call it the manna, as the angel's bread was given to the Israelites, the manna, the manna. What is it? So when we get into Torah reading and feeding, respective Torah reading and feedings, it's good to think of it as the sabbatical manna, right? And manna, right? That manna, the angel's bread, they called it manna, who? Because they asked, like, what is it? Manna, what, Mana, please tell me what it is. Mana who? What is he? What is it? Right? The weekly parasha that are assigned to the people of the congregation for public reading. For public reading, the Mikra, right? The Mikra. So as we would have the Mikra Kodesh, right? The holy convocations, the set apart outcall gatherings, Hebraically church, right? During the feasts and the festivals, and for the Israelites, like sometime every 7 years or sabbatical year, there'll be a reading, right? In local communities, right? There was these readings, especially after the Babylonian exile, right? The tribe of Judah spent 70 years in Babylon captivity. And then with Cyrus, King Cyrus, right, a Gentile who was called by Yeshaya through the authority of Yahweh Eloheinu, he was called Messiah, right, Moshiach. He would be a Messiah, the only Gentile or non-Israelite Messiah that we see within the scripture, because he would make the way, right, for the tribe of Yehuda, the tribe of Judah, the Judeans, even we, the black Jews of the tribe of Judah, to return out of the Babylonian exile. So there was a small remnant, right? Ezra, Nehemiah, those books there, as well as Esdras. Esdras is a Greek way of referring to Ezra, right? This is where this tribe or this order, right? This practice came in. We even find Moshe Yeshua going into the synagogue of Nazareth, the Moed of Nazareth, and going up to read the Haftarah. But first, the Aliyah. So the Aliyah, right, or the Aliyot, right, this is this here. The Aliyot are these here, what we see right here. The first reading, the first Aliyah, second reading, second Aliyah, third Aliyah, so forth and so on. All together, all 7 are the Aliyot. So the portion, right, the manna is like a bread. Imagine like we get a loaf of bread, right? And a loaf of bread we cut into 7 parts. Like you have a loaf of bread for a week. You know what I'm saying? So this part is for first day, second day, third day, for the study, right? But then on the Shabbat day, to ones who are assigned to bring forth those readings, right? It's a public reading, right? So that every Sabbath we can get to hear. We find Paul going to the different synagogues from Shabbat to Shabbat, right? So as they would go through these reading and feedings, right, Brother Paul, right, Rabbi Shaul would start to expound on Moshiach, right, as we also seek to do. So in most congregations, aggregations, customary for the person called up to read to often recite a baraka, a blessing for the Torah, before and also after the assigned section, right, is recited by the cantor, the chanter, right? For Shabbat services, for the Sabbath services, right, on the 7th day, there are 7 aliyot, right? And there's what we know as a concluding portion that's called the maftir, right? The person, right, who is called, right, to come up, to go up, to make aliyah. Aliyah is like going up. Aliyah is interesting because it's the going up to read, right? The aliyah, right? And also it's referred to as repatriating or returning to the land as aliyah, is going up. Even to make the pilgrim festivals and feasts, one had to go up because Jerusalem, Zion and Jerusalem are height. They would go up. So both to go up physically to the Shalosh Regalim, right? And also when in the congregation to go up, like to the bema, to go up to bring forward the word, right? As Hosea chapter 14, I think verse 2, it says, take with you words. We will render the calves of our lips, right? The offerings of our lips, because no longer the dead is sacrifice, but we're called to be a living sacrifice. So the person who is called to make aliyah is referred to as a ole. Ole, right? If it's a male, the ole, or ola. Ola if a female. So a woman that will go up is ola. A male that will go up is a ole. Also, the ole and ola nowadays refer to those who say return to the land, whether it's the southern kingdom of Judah land or, the modern, what they call Israel, right? In Israel, in that sense of going up to the land, right? There's the ole, one who has, in a sense, we say repatriated, in a sense. But repatriated is an interesting phrase because literally it means to return to the Father. Yes? Ole and ola. Ole, male, ola, female. So the maftir, it refers to the last Torah aliyah of the Torah chanting service. Normally, it's a brief repetition of the 7th aliyah. So often the maftir is like after the 7th aliyah reading is read, right? There'll be a repetition of that 7th aliyah, 2 sevens, Though on holy days, Yomim Tovim, right, the maftir portion, it usually focuses on the holy day, the Yom Tov, the good day, the holy day, as described in HaTorah. We went through that as well within the Sukkot and the other feast and festival seasons, right? The person who recites the maftir baraka also often recites the baraka, right, over the haftarah portion, right? This is what is traditionally done. But the person who recites that also recites the baraka over the haftarah. So what is a haftarah? The haftarah, bring it down here, the prophet's reading. So it's called haftarah, but the haftarah actually is the additional portion. So after the Torah reading and feedings is an additional portion, right? That is from the prophets, the Nevi'im, right? Read after the weekly Torah portion. The person who made the maftir baraka also often recites the baraka, the blessing for the haftarah, and may even read, even also in some congregation gatherings, may even read the haftarah or read the prophet's portion before the aggregation, the congregation. So the haftarah or the prophet's reading here for the first sabbatical study, Shabbat Strong, Yeshaya, Isaiah 42, verses 5 to 43, verse 10. Right? So right here, this is the outline, the Torah portion outlined here, right? Some of the key, topical themes, reasoning themes on any one of these or all of these. It'd be good, for ones, twos, and threes, and even I and I gathered together sometimes to zoom in, right? So usually for the reasonings, right, should focus on the Torah reading and feeding, prophets reading and feeding, or respectively the Psalms. But right here, right, the prophets reading the outline right here, right? We have Isaiah chapter 42, the servant, right? The servant, a light to the nations. See how it kind of reflects the theme in the beginning. Wayahi or, right? Wayahi or, Yehi or, Wayahi or, let there be light, let he be light, right? And he was light, or let there be light, and there was light, or let him be light, and he was light. And the Hebrew sense brings out that sense. Let him be light, and he was light. He was lit, right? Isaiah, right? 42:10, there's a hymn of praise, right? 42:21, key themes, Yisrael's disobedience. So we call it from the Hebrew sense, Israel's hard of hearing, Israel's hard of hearing. Isaiah 43:1, the restoration and protection promise, that restoration. So here we made this compilation some years ago. Some of it still can be found, but it's a compilation, of information. So we put disclaimer. Not everything within the Bereishit do we co-sign, but we start out there, right? Because the best compendium, of Yehudi, Judaic reasonings on these areas. Some very, very accurate, and some that, challenge our reasoning to overstand, right? And to overcome. But here, the Bereishit is a compilation, is a free download right there, right? Which goes through all the portions there, right? So here, just to kind of sum up right here, let's leave that on the screen for un momento, right? One moment right there. Let's see if we have this here to share. Well, hold this right here. Hold it.
Man, stand his plan. All he needs to do is follow the spirit, which is legit. That is how we'll all grow. Know him, Elohim. Man, stand his plan. All he needs to do is follow. Man, stand his plan. Man, stand his plan. Man, stand his plan. All he needs to do is follow the spirit, which is legit. That is how we'll all grow. Know him, Elohim.
Okay, so right here's some of the notes from the lojs.org for this first sabbatical study from the Amharic for Orit, Fitret, creation. Right here, Hebraically based on the Hebrew first words, Be in Reishith, in the Reishith. We say that Reishith is Chokmah, Reishith is wisdom, and we can bring it out from the scriptures, particularly Proverbs chapter 8, Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7, and then Proverbs chapter 8 from verse 22. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7, that's with the Hebrew. It says that wisdom is the principal thing, right? In the Hebrew, it says that Chokmah, known as Chokmah, wisdom, the Hebrew Sophia, is the Reishith. So the first words of the scripture, Be in Reishith. Right? It's pointed as Bereishit. Some might say different ways they may say it, but truly the pointing brings out the sense, right? Bereishit. Reishit is to say the female head or to say the beginning, but specifically it applies to Chokmah. Remember, it says that wisdom, Robbeinu Yeshua says that wisdom is justified by all of her children. Then when you read and study the Proverbs, right, 4 and 7, it links that wisdom is the Reishith. And then in Proverbs chapter 8, from verse 22 and forward in that chapter, it describes how Chokmah, how wisdom was there. Remember when he said, let us, right? And the man has become as one of us. Right? So in wisdom, right? Bereishit bara Elohim et hashemayim wa et haaretz. In wisdom did Elohim, the powers, he create the heavens and the earth, right? Here. You know, when he spoke the word, right? The beginning was the word, right? We know the word incarnate. Therefore, we should recognize the word, right? Prior to the in the flesh, in the carnation. Carnation sound like coronation, check. Interesting. In the carnation, in the coronation, right? Reason for the season. So right here, Bereishit, just a basic basic overview. Bereishit. So we have the Hebrew book of Genesis here. This is for the Torah reading and feeding, all the Torah reading and feedings here in this first book. So the scroll of the Torah is the oldest and most sacred of all of the Beit Yisrael, the Beta Israel scriptures. It contains 5 books. The Hebrew name for the first one is Bereishit, right? In Reishit, right? It is also the first word of the book in the Hebrew text. The literal first word is Bereishit, in Reishit. So it's interesting that Shlomo HaMelech, that Solomon, given that wisdom, right, from above, he would accurately say that wisdom is the Reishith. And then in chapter 8, verse 22, it shows how wisdom was there even before the heavens and earth, right? And in that labor, right? It is also the first word. So people ask about the feminine or divine feminine. I could say male and female, he created them because wisdom was there. Wisdom testifies, right? And then Yeshua also says that wisdom is justified by all of her children. So wisdom, a type of a mother, right? It is also the first word of the book in the Hebrew text, as well as the name of the first parasha, right? The first week's reading, right? Bereishit generally is interpreted to mean in the beginning, right? The English name Genesis, it comes from the Septuagint, the LXX. So where do we get the word Genesis? We get it from the Septuagint, the Koine Greek, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. Genesis. Genesis means origins, or even has a sense of the birth, right? So in the Ethiopic, we have the Orit, the Torah, the first book, known as Genesis, with 2 names. One is Lidet, right? Orit Zelidet. Orit is the Ethiopic way to refer to the Torah Orit, the Orit Ze of Lidet. Lidet means the birth, but it's also referred to as the Orit Ze Fitret. So Lidet, birth, no doubt some influence from the Septuagint, the Koine Greek, the birth sense, and then we have Ze Fitret, speaking to the theme of creation, Fitret. Therefore, the Koine Greek name of the first book of the Bible, right, can be interpreted and received to mean the book of origins. Genesis describes the origins of everything, the principal origins of everything. It begins with the origins of the universe, what's called the universe, the heavens and the earth, right? Focuses on the origins of man, of humanity, and then explores the origins of the nation of Israel, of Amo Yisrael, the people of Yisrael, right? As we study the first week's reading from the book of Genesis, we will learn a great deal about Elohim. Now, Elohim is the key, not so much name. Elohim is not so much a name. It's a name as a title name, but it's not like a name like we say, more like a personal name. The Yahweh is more the personal, but first we have Elohim as the creator, right? The creator, the powers, he, right? The same about the word Elohim, right? It's the powers, he, but it also there's an implied Hebrew powers trinity, right? Let us. But let's go on. Great deal about Elohim. But even more, we can learn about I and ourselves and humanity in general and certain things specifically, right? Also psychologically, there's a lot of psychological data that can be discerned. That's why the one that said that the spirit is in the Bible. No, the data is in the Bible, right? But having that spirit in us is the key to discern and know the truth. After all, isn't that what Yeshua said? Yeshua basically said that it's a spirit, the Holy Spirit, right, in us. After all, this is the story of our origins. When properly understood, understood, and I would say overstood, the story of our origin, or the origin of humanity and the origin of this all, helps us find our destination and basically also to find the way, the truth, and the life. Now, there's a little portion commentary. I'm not going to go through the fullness here, but a key question is, where are you? Here, where are you? Where are you? Right? Notice when ones were called, their answer, Abraham, others, here I am. But where are you? I just gave you an answer, right? Here I am. Where are you? Right? The thought for the Shabua. Adam wa Hawa. Adam wa Hawa. Adam and Hawa and Eve, they had choices. Also, another key theme here that's not written here, but is the choice factor, right? The choice factor, right? The choice factor. The tree of life, or the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the tree of the knowledge of Tov Ra, Tov Ra, Tov, good, wit, and Ra, Tov Ra, right? Choosing, right? Choice factor. Choosing is an essential part of being human. What do you think? The choice factor. It might be the Matrix, even the Matrix movie. Hail up to Sophia Stewart, right? They call her the mother of the Matrix, Sophia Stewart. Don't know about her? Look up Sophia Stewart and Matrix. But the whole matter of the choice factor, right? We can choose Tob, that which is good, that which is beneficial. That is the way of Chaim, life. As the greeting Judaically, Hebraically is L'chaim, when you toast one, right? L'chaim, for life. Or one can choose disobedience, choose ra, that which is not beneficial, right? That which is lo tov, or not good, or evil, right? And that results in mavet, death, right? We choose between the two trees countless times every day. Something that Gormawi Nagusa Negest, right? Kadamawi Haile Selassie, I, Godfather and King of Kings of Ethiopia, something he said that peace, right, before the nations, when he testified to the united Gentiles, the united heathen, the united nations, right? He said that peace is not a is, right? Peace is not a is, it's a becoming, right? And how it's dependent on those choices, right? Those choices, right? It reminded me, I was reminded of that last line there, we choose between the two trees countless times every day. Commentary, we'll pick up more on the commentary, but just touch on this one right here, Genesis 3:8-9. When it says, they heard the sound, the voice, the word sound of Yahweh Elohim walking in the Gan. The Gan is the garden, in the cool of the day. And the man and Ishto and his Isha, his Eshet, his Orset, his wife, hid themselves from the presence or the face, the perception, right? When it says presence, when you see the word presence in the scripts, in a new covenant sense, this is what it means by person, right? Presence equals person, right? We talk about the persons of Hashalush HaKadosh, Kedus Selassie, what some call the Holy Trinity, right? The person, right, is the presence. Literally, it's the face or the aspect. From the presence of Yahweh Elohim among the trees, right? Among the trees of the Gan, among the trees of the garden. So right here, I touched on that there. Okay, let's bring it out of here. Let's do this right here. And so here, the New Covenant reading, right? The New Testament reading. We didn't touch on that. Just to be thorough right here. Okay. This is from John J. Parsons, Hebrew for Christians, one of our recommended outsourced sites right here. Brit Hadasha, John chapter 1, verses 1 to 14, Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 to 17, and the Epistle to the Hebrews chapter 1, right, verses 1 to 3. So just briefly on the Haftarah, right, the Brit Hadasha, that comes after the Haftarah. So we have the 3 readings here, just to show this right here. I think it's on our page too, but I just want to show this page as well, right? Here we go, right there. So the Brit Hadasha, the Brit Hadasha refers to the New Testament, what is called the New Testament. We interpret this as the renewed covenant, Brit Hadasha, right? Readings that are added, right, to the traditional Torah reading cycle. Right, so this is what we actually, the pattern that we get to see in the actual Brit Hadasha scriptures. Right, there's much that the Apostle Paul and the other apostles are speaking of, that when we learn this order, we begin to recognize how it makes sense when Yeshua went to the synagogue, what he read when he read that there, and also even Paul and others, right, things that they spoke of within the new covenant, even going to the synagogue and things that they brought out, because as we go to the Torah readings and feedings, we see that the Torah, speaking of Moshe, right, and the Haftarah, speaking of the prophets, truly is that groundation that we just showed you, the verses we just went to in Matthew chapter 5 and in Luke's gospel concerning this matter here for discipleship. So there's often the blessings, the blessing also for the Brit Hadasha that are recited before and after the readings, So right here, looking at the time right here. Let's do this right here. Just a little segue so that we can, operate this board here. All right. So remember the ground, the good fruit, the fruit of the ground.
There's a lot of work to be done, oh gosh, in the promised land. There's a lot of work to be done, oh gosh, in the promised land.
Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tziwanu la asoka b'divrei Torah. Right, the blessing right here. Let me just share this page if it comes up. La asok, divrei. Some modern speakers say divrei, a soft B, divrei. But divrei, the words of the Torah, right here. Psalm 119:97, that quote, Ma ahabti, what ahabti, what I have loved, literally, or like bring to the sense of how I love, like how much I love, like what I have loved, like how much I have loved. Ma ahabti torateka, how much I love, like your Torah, the eyes Torah. Ma ahabti torateka, call yom he, call all hayom, he, all the day. I'm zooming in on this right here. All the day. Ma ahabti torateka, call hayom he. Sichati. Translation, oh, how I love your Torah. It is my meditation. It's my sicha, my sicha, siyach, right? My siyach, sichati. Ma ahabti torateka. How I love the eye. The eye is speaking to he, right? Torah, speaking of she. Ma ahabtia torateka, call all hayom, all the day. Call hayom he is actually the pronoun for she, right? All the day she, right? Call hayom he. Sichati is my siyach, is my meditation. There's some words right here, right? This is what often it's said or is like the medi before the Torah study, right? And the baraka I just made right there was a little small Hebrew that was there on the Hebrew for Christians. It says here, Baruch Ata Yahweh Eloheinu Melech HaOlam. Blessed be thee, I, O he who be Adonai, Eloheinu, I, Elohim, the Elohim of Anu, Eloheinu, Melech, King, HaOlam, eternal or of the universe, King. Some translate as King of the universe. Melech HaOlam can also be brought out as eternal King, or even in the sense of universal King, eternal King. Baruch Ata, Yahweh Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher, the one who Kiddishanu has sanctified or made us set apart. The Kodesh, Kiddishanu, who has set us apart. He sanctified us. beMitzvotayo, modern Hebrew beMitzvotav. Some say beMitzvotav. Afro-Shemitically, beMitzvotayo. Kiddishanu beMitzvotayo. He has set us apart. To say he has made us holy. Holy is to be set apart, apartness, separateness. He has set us apart, beMitzvotav, by his commandments. So in other words, we are made holy, set apart, right, when we fulfill his mitzvot, his commands. Kiddishanu beMitzvotayo vitzivano, and he has commanded us, siwa anu. He's commanded anu, I, with Sawano, la asok, to busy ourselves, or it can be brought out to engross ourselves, like to occupy ourselves, la asok, right? Be divrei, in the words of the divrei, words of Torah, in the words of Torah, right there. That's their translation right there. Here. Gonna ride up right after this right here. So for the HaShabbat dub, we have the Eitz Chaim. Eitz, the tree of Chaim, the tree of life dub right here for picking up with our Shabbat. You say the first Shabbat in this new Shemestah, Shema Yisrael.
Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe HaShabbat throughout their generations, a perpetual covenant. It, a sign between me and the children of Yisrael, the children of Israel forever. For 6 days Yahweh Jehovah made Hashemayim, the heavens and earth and the earthly plane. And on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. Beini u ven bnei Yisrael oti le'olam ki shesheta yamim asah Yahweh et hashemayim ve'et haaretz vayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash. It is a sign between I and the sons of Yisrael. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Ot he, she is a sign. Ot he. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael. Ot he le'olam. For she is a sign between I and the children of Yisrael le'olam. For I v'le'olam. Ki shesheta yamim asah Yahuwah. For in 6 days, Ki shesheta yamim, he who he be made asah Yahuwah. Jehovah made eta hashamayim, the heavens, eta haaretz, and the earth and the earthly plane, uvayom hashavi, and on the 7th day, ubayom hashavi, shavata wayayinafash, he ceased from work. Shabbat, wayinafash, and rested. He rested and was refreshed. Shabbat, wayinafash.
Yes. We have today's daily psalm. Let's just touch on it right here. Rejoice in Yahweh, y'all righteous. Praise is fitting, is proper, is becoming for the upright. Touch on today's daily psalm 3:3, 33rd psalm right here. Dubwise, Shema Yisrael.
מזמור ל"ג. רננו צדיקים באדוני, לישרים נבא תהילה. הודו לאדוני בכינור, בנבל עשור זמרו לו. שירו לו שיר חדש, היטיבו נגן בתרועה. כי ישר דבר אדוני, וכל מעשהו באמונה. אוהב צדקה ומשפט, חסד אדוני מלאה הארץ. בדבר אדוני שמיים נעשו, וברוח פיו כל צבאם. כונס כנד מי הים, נותן באוצרות תהומות. יראו מאדוני כל הארץ, ממנו יגורו כל יושבי תבל. כי הוא אמר ויהי, הוא ציווה ויעמוד. אדוני הפיר עצת גויים, הני מחשבות עמים. עצת אדוני לעולם תעמוד, מחשבות ליבו לדור ודור. אשרי הגוי אשר אדוני אלוהיו, העם בחר לנחלה לו. משמיים הביט אדוני, ראה את כל בני האדם. ממכון שבטו השגיח אל כל יושבי הארץ. היוצר יחד ליבם, המבין אל כל מעשיהם. אין המלך נושע ברוב חיל, גיבור לא ינצל ברוב כוח. שקר הסוס לתשועה, וברוב חילו לא ימלט. הנה עין אדוני אל יראיו, למייחלים לחסדו. להציל ממוות נפשם, ולחיותם ברעב. נפשנו חיכתה לאדוני, עזרנו ומגיננו הוא. כי בו ישמח ליבנו, כי בשם קודשו בטחנו. יהי חסדך אדוני עלינו, כאשר ייחלנו לך.
So here, Mizmor Lamed, Gimel, Lamed. Remember Lamed, Lamad mean to learn, Limed to teach. Here we have Hebraically, alphanumerically, Lamad. Right? Lamed, 30. The Hebrew letter Lamed, standing for the numerical value of 30. Gimel, Aleph Beit Gimel, Abaga, Aleph Beit Gimel, third letter of the Hebrew alphabet. 33, Psalm 33 is a song of deliverance. The opening verse of the psalm, it takes up the call of the last verse of Psalm 32. It is throughout, right, a hymn of triumph, a hymn of victory, hymn of Yeshua, Yeshuot. The verbs are in the plural, and there's the we and our. The we, I, and our also point to the national, communal, right, rather than just the personal victory. So this is like I victory, the we, our, I, us, the community, right, the national, Beit Yisrael, the Beta Israel, we all as one. Yes, the circumstance that occasion its composition is not quite specified and cannot basically be determined. Generally speaking, it is a song of deliverance. It's a praise psalm right here. Some of the basics.
Psalm 33.
מזמור ל"ג.
Rejoice in the Lord, O ye righteous, ye righteous, ye righteous.
רננו צדיקים באדוני, 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 באדוני.
For praise is comely for the upright, for the upright, for the upright, for the upright.
לישרים נבע תהילה, 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 תהילה.
Praise the Lord with harp, with harp, with harp, with harp.
הודו לאדוני בכינור, 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 בכינור.
Sing unto him with the psaltery and an instrument of 10 strings, 10 strings, 10 strings, 10 strings.
בנבל עשור זמרו לו, זמרו לו, זמרו לו, זמרו לו.
Sing unto him a new song, a new song, a new song, a new song.
שירו לו שיר חדש, שיר חדש, שיר חדש, שיר חדש.
Play skillfully with a loud noise, a loud noise, a loud noise, a loud noise.
היטיבו נגן בתרועה, 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 בתרועה.
For the word of the Lord is right, 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 right.
כי ישר דבר אדוני, דבר אדוני, דבר אדוני.
And all his works are done in truth, done in truth, done in truth.
וכל מעשהו באמונה, 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 באמונה.
He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathereth the waters of the sea together as an heap. He layeth up the depth in storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. The Lord looketh from heaven, he beholdeth all the sons of men. From the place of his habitation he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioneth their hearts alike, he considereth all their works. There is no king saved by the multitude of an host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. An horse is a vain thing for safety, neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their soul from death, and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us, according as we hope in thee, 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 we hope in thee.
Yes. Not to go through a full right here. Have like a minute before we go into the next hour right here, coming up to the first day service. But here, on this psalm here, with this Torah reading and feeding RSS number 1 for Parashat Bereishit, Shabbat Bereishit. Here we have the Royal Order Psalm, Mizmor Lamed, Gimel, Psalm 33, that's themed the Song of Deliverance. So I have this thing right here, this book, it's called The New Testament Quotations Collated with Hebrew Old Testament Scriptures. It's a LOJS, a reprint, right? I think we still have it in stock, so ones are very good. It's mostly in English, has some of the Hebrew and the Greek, but it compares, right, quotations that we have in the New Testament from where they are in the Brit HaYashana, what's called the Old Testament. This is from 1855 by Henry Gough, Gough, Henry Gough. But it's a very interesting read and kind of a companion study. So, for example, for this psalm, Psalm 33, Mizmor Lamed Gimel, right, we have a quote right here. Some psalms have more quotes. Some areas of the scripture, it goes into different areas, not just psalms. But here we're zooming in. Page 127 has Psalm 33, right? The 6th verse. that reads, by the word of the Lord were the heavens made. By the word of the Lord were the heavens made. In the Ivrit, the Hebrew, Bia Debar, Bi Debar Yahuwah Shemayim Na'asu, Na'asu, Na'asu. Right? And then the second part of the verse is, and all the hosts of them by the breath of his mouth. Ub Beruach Pio call Tzibaam. Call Tzibaam. Call Tzibaam. The Tzaba, where we get like the root of Tzabaot. But the first part of the verse is the part we want to zoom in on right here. By the word of Yahweh, the heavens, the Shemayim made their appearance after, and Elohim said. What we have in Genesis Bereishit chapter 1 verse 6, and also the host, the Tzibaam, right? That's found there, I think, in chapter 2 verse 3, where we have the Sabbath word on the Shabbat word, the hosts of them, speaking about the sun, the moon, the stars, the heavenly so-called bodies. But this part of the verse here that goes with our Torah reading and feeding right here for Bereishit, just to zoom in on this, Be Debar Yahuwah Shamayim Na'asu. Be Debar Yahuwah. In the Debar, right? The Debar of he who he be. The word Debar. Remember, Genesis was Debarim. We had Genesis for Debarim. So Be Debar Yahuwah in the word, right? Debar of he who he be. Shamayim, the heavens. The heavens Na'asu. The heavens Na'asu. Okay, let me just do this right here. Okay. All right. Yes. The heavens Na'asu. Asa. To make Na'asu. Na'asu, they were made. Now here, the interesting note on this, I got to take a little screenshot of this, and then I can show the eye just how all these things, where it says all things work together, for we know that all things work together for those who love Elohim and who are called according to his purpose. Been noticing how the daily psalm, just how this season is aligned, and looking at the revelations, the fruit growing in this season. So we have Psalm 33, right? Today's daily psalm corresponding with this Shabbat, right? Bereishit, the first Torah reading and feeding, RSS number 1. Bereishit right here in the beginning. And here in the daily psalm, Mizmor Lamed Gimel, Psalm 33, at the Wow, the Vav, the Wow verse, the 6th verse. By the word of Yahweh were the heavens made. Be Debar Yahuwah Shemayim Na'asu. This here we have in the New Covenant, New Testament sense, in John's Gospel, John chapter 1, verses 1 and 3, right? In chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning was the Word. In the beginning was Ha-Dabar, the Word. And in verse 3, it says, all things were made by him. All things were made by him. Even that word where it says, Vayomer Elohim, Yehi or, and Elohim said, let there be light. The translator says, let there be light. From a Hebrew perspective is let him be light. Let him be light. Yehi or, and he was light. Right? In the beginning was Ha-Dabar, was the word, the Dabar. Right? All things. In the Hebrew sense, I'll bring up the Hebrew when we get into the studies. But I think it's the Debarim. The word words can also mean things, matters, concepts, little words or things matter. I would say, what's the matter, right? So all things, Debarim, were made by him. So like the beginning was the word, and the word made all words. Yeah. So also in Revelation, the Chazon Yochanan, the Revelation, Yohanes Rai, Revelation of John, Yochanan, chapter 19, verse 13, it says, and his name is called, and his Shemo, his Shemo is called, right? The Dabar, right, of Elohim, right? The Dabar Ha Elohim, the word of Elohim. So that's interesting right there. That'll be a good reason, to bring out the verse 6, right? Verse 6, bringing out verse 6 of of today's daily Psalm, Psalm 33. That right there is the reason, right there. The Psalm of chorus, the Psalm of praise, and enough words of power right there. But that's a word of power, a chayla kal in the Amharic, the good sense, chayla kal, chayl, power, kal, power of the word, a word of power, right? There for this reading and feeding. So here, just to make that segue, let's note that right there because it connects with two main areas, especially the area in John's gospel. In the beginning was the word, right? Word was with Elohim, and the word was Elohim, and all things was made by him. So here's what we have right here coming forward here. Let's just touch on this here, right? The starting point, right? The starting point of reality, right? Here's the opening words of the Hebrew scriptures, read from right to left, the top part right there. Bereishit, bara, Elohim, eight, hashemayim, eight, haaretz, eight, haaretz, et haaretz. Bereishit, right? Bereishit, in the Reishit, the beginning, first, chief, right? As we said, we link that with Proverbs chapter 4, verse 7, and Proverbs chapter 8, verse 22, with Chokmah, with wisdom, right? Wisdom is the principal thing, right? Wisdom is the principal thing, right? Is the Reishith, right? Reishith is the principle, right? So, since wisdom, according to Proverbs 4 and 7, equals Chokmah, equals Reishith, right? Therefore, Bereishit is saying Bechokmah, right? Or Chokmato, in his wisdom, right? Bara, he created Elohim, the powers. So here we have Elohim, right? Literally, some say it's a plural sense of power, like power, powers, at least two or more. The word, the Yod Meme in the Hebrew, at least two or more. But it's acting not as they. See, it doesn't say, some say, well, Elohim is a plural sense. I mean gods. But they're not understanding the Hebrew. The Hebrew is bara, not baru. If it said baru, it would be like they. So in wisdom, right, did he, the powers, right, at least two or more, what the Father, the Son, right, bara Elohim some see in the direct object marker, the et is this right here. This one, that center right there, the et. Right? Some see the et right there because in Revelation, right, the speaker identifies himself as Ha-Aleph, Ha-Tau. Ha-Aleph, the first, right? Ha-Aleph, right? Ha-Tau, right? As the first and the last, right? The first and the last. Ha-Aleph, Ha-Tau, right? Or Ha-Aleph, Ha-Tav. So first letter from on the right-hand side, Aleph, second letter Tau, or in modern later Hebrew, Tav, right? Some say, well, that there is signifying Moshiach, that there is signifying Yeshua, that there is signifying the Ben Elohim Chayim, right? The Son of the living God. And we don't deny that there, but some, would see that there and kind of confound, what the sentence is saying. That's a direct object marker. It marks the verb. The et at that point marks the verb. The verb here is bara, right? He created, right? Elohim, the powers, at least two or more, right? Created, because Elohim, looking at it from a plural sense. But here it's the creator tied to Hebraically of Yahweh, of he who be, we be. So Bereishit bara Elohim et, right? He created what? Et hashemayim, the heavens, shemayim. Shemayim is at least two or more. Shemayim is heavens, the dual of Shameh, right? Also, we have the sense of Shameh, the Sham. Sham means like the place there is, in a sense, there is Sham, right? And then Mayim, waters, the place, some interpret as a place of the waters. Hashemayim, with, and at, another direct object marker, right? That means this is pointing to what the verb is verbing, right? So bara is the verb, bara, right? Bara. Now here's an interesting note that John J. Parson, the Hebrew for Christians, right? Put here for I and I, for the Hebrew for Rastafari. Here on the bara, you see the bara, 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 bara. The verb bara, bara is the form to create. The Hebrew letters underneath that's not transliterated or brought out really is yesh, yesh ma'ayin, yesh ma'ayin, ma'ayin, yesh ma'ayin. What does yesh ma'ayin mean? Yesh is like there is, like ain mean like there is not, right? Ain, there is not. So those who say there is no God, they say ain Elohim. Elohim does not exist, or there is not. We say yesh Elohim, yesh, there is. So yesh is to say there is, ma'ayin, yesh ma'ayin. Yesh ma'ayin is like say like something from nothing, or there is from nothing. Ayin, 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 ayin. Right? Not to be confused with ayin. Ayin, ayin is I. Ayin, ayin. Ayin, ayin, right? Yesh ma'ayin, yesh ma'ayin, or yesh ma'ayin. Something from nothing, right? So this is that the whole idea that, okay, the creation was created, right? There was nothing, and he created, right? You know, we need to understand the sense of like, people say, well, we are creators. We have creative ability, right? Because we were created in his image after his likeness. But, you know, everything that we are creating, there was something, right? Something, what we are so-called creating, there was something already there. You know, there was something already there. Africa, some say away to creators. I'll say Africa. I think the more proper interpretations that our people need the creative people, the people who are creative with creating good things in that power that is in us because of the image and after the likeness that we have been created. But here, Bereishit bara Elohim eta hashemayim wa eta haaretz. The aretz, the land, the ground, the land, the ground. So here's where we begin right here. Right? Here's what we begin. It's the crown of the Torah studies, and it's also the starting point of reality. So make I and I ride up. Gonna ride up right here. Shema Yisrael.
Because you have rejected his instructions.
Yes. Yeah, so we don't have the audibles right here. So we still would like to share the baraka, the blessing before the reading. Give me one moment right here. I want you to be able to see it on the screen at the same time. Chabarim, the blessing right here. Just hold on for a moment. Okay. All right. There. Let's see. Can you scroll that up? Oh, okay. People can see that my thing is on the screen right there. People can see that still. All right. Let's see, how should we do this right here? So that's it on the screen right there. All right. Let me just pull this up right here. Give me one moment. I'm gonna write off the blessing before, since we touched on. Yeah, go to the blessings page over here. Right, because can't see the rest. People can see the rest right there. But all right. So the blessing before the reading, the Torah blessings, right? The Torah blessings. Okay, here we go right here, the Torah blessings. All right, before making the aliyah right here, give thanks. Hold that on the screen. We'll go back to that right there. Okay. All right, let's do this right here. We're going to scroll right down here, right, to the blessings right here. You can see this right here, part by part. Right, I'll lift up the other part so you can see that as well. All right, but hold the other thing on the screen. Give thanks, give thanks. So here's the blessing before the Torah reading, right? The reader or reciter would say Barku, 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 like all of y'all. Bless y'all, Et Yahweh, right? Et Yahweh. Bless y'all, or some say Et Adonai, would say Barku Et Yahweh, Hamborak, Hamborak, Hamborak. Barku Et Yahweh, Hamborak. Barku Et Adonai, Hamborak. Bless he who be, who is to be blessed. The congregation, the response from the congregation right here is Baruch Adonai, Baruch Yahweh, Hambarak. Blessed is. So first the call to y'all to bless Baruchu, Baruchu, right? Baruchu, right? Here, Baruchu et Yahweh, Hambarak. Response, Baruch. He is blessed. Baruch Yahweh. Yahweh is blessed. Hambarak, the one to be blessed. Le olam wa'ed, forever and ever, till time indefinite and onward. Now, right here, the following will be recited right here, right? The Torah before the Torah reading and feeding, right? Read from right hand to left. Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher Bachar banu mikol ha'amin, V'natana lanu eta Torato. Baruch atah Yahweh notain ha-Torah. The translation down there, blessed are you, Yahweh, our Elohim, King of the universe, universal King, who chose us, right, from all the peoples and gave to us Torato, his Torah. Blessed be the I, Baruch atah Yahweh, notain, the giver, ha-Torah, the Torah, the giver of the Torah. So once again, the blessing before the reading, right? Baruch atah Yahweh. Some say Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin, V'natan lanu eta Torato. Baruch atah Yahweh notain ha-Torah. Right there, and then there's the after, right? We'll just hold that right there, the after. So Baruch, right? Baruch et Yahweh. Here.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad. Adonai Echad.
Beshem Ha'ab Ve'Haben Ve'Ruach HaKadosh Yahweh Achad. In the name of the Father Ha'ab, and of the Son Haben, and of the Holy Spirit Ruach HaKadosh Yahweh Ahad, he who be, the one. Bereishit Aleph. Bereishit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve et haaretz. Ve haaretz hayta tohua ve bohua ve choshekta al pnei tehom. Ve ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei the first book of Moses, the first book of Moshe, called Genesis, Sefer Bereishit. First book of Moses, the Hebrew book of Genesis, chapter 1, the original creation. Bereishit bara Elohim et hashamayim wa et haaretz. In the beginning, Bereishit, Elohim created the heavens, hashamayim, and the earth, haaretz. The earth made waste and empty by judgment. Verse 2. And the earth was a tohu, and the earth was without form and void, and choshek, darkness was upon the face of the tehom, the deep, and the ruach, the spirit, the irit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters, the new beginning, the first day. Light diffuse. And Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light. And Elohim saw the light that it was that it was good. Ki tob, that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness, and Elohim called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And evening. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Wahi Erev, Wahi Boker, Yom Echad. The second day, vapor above, water below, verse 6. And Elohim said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And Elohim made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And Elohim called the firmament heaven. And the evening, Erev, and the Boker were the second day. The third day, land and sea, plant life appears. Verse 9. And Elohim said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together to one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And Elohim called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth grass, and herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. Ki tob. And the evening, the Erev, and the Boker, the morning, were the third day. The fourth day, the sun, moon, and stars become visible. Verse 14. Bereishit Aleph Sheni.
ויאמר אלוהים, ויהי מאורות בירקיעה השמיים, להבדיל בין היום ובין הלילה, וחיו לאותות ולמועדים ולימים ושנים.
Verse 14. And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And Elohim made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And Elohim set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was, and the evening, Erev, and the morning, Boker, were the fourth day. The fifth day, the second creative act, animal life. Verse 20. And Elohim said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And Elohim created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening, Erev, and the morning, Boker, were the fifth day.
Bereishit Aleph Shelishi. ויאמר אלוהים תוצא הארץ נפש חיה למינהה בהמה ורמס וחייתו ארץ למינהה
The sixth day, 1. The fecundity, fruitfulness of the earth after the creative work of the fifth day. Verse 24. And Elohim said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And Elohim made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And Elohim saw that it was good, the sixth day, second. The creation of man, verse 26. And Elohim said, Vayomer Elohim na'aseh Adam bis alamen let us, I and I, make man in our I and I image, after our I and I like, Yirdu, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him, male and female created he them. Waya yibra Elohim etaha Adam bis almo bis elem Elohim bara oto zakar unekeba bara otam. The first dispensation, innocency. The first or Adenic covenant conditioned the life of unfallen man. Verse 28. And Elohim blessed them, and Elohim said to them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And Elohim said, behold, I've given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, to you it shall be for meal. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. I have given every green herb for meal, and it was so. And Elohim saw everything that he had made, and hine, behold, look and see. It was very good. And the evening, Arab, and the morning, Boker, were the sixth day. First book of Moses, Hebrew book of Genesis, chapter 2. The Sabbath rest of Elohim, type of the believers, the Mitmenan, the faithful's rest in the finished work of redemption. Verse 1. Thus, like this, Hashemayim, the heavens, and Haaretz, the earth, were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. Bereishit Beit Revi'i. Here, Gevir, here for the Sheni, the second Aliyah, second up offering for this Shabbat Bereishit, Sabbath in the beginning. Eile Toldot HaShemayim V'Haaretz Behi Bara'ama B'Yoma Esota Yahweh Elohim Aretz V'Shamayim. Eile Toldot, these are the generations. Eile Toldot HaShemayim, these are the generations of the heavens. Eile Toldot HaShemayim V'Haaretz Behi Bar'am B'Yom Esoti Yahweh Elohim Aretz V'Shamayim. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created. Eile Toldot HaShemayim V'Haaretz Behi Bar'am B'Yom. In the day that Yahweh Elohim, Jehovah Elohim, made earth and heaven. ביום אסותי הווה אלוהים ארצה ושמיים שמיים 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 שמיים. Summary of the creation work of chapter 1, verse 4. These are the generations of Hashemayim, the heavens, and Haaretz, the earth, when they were created, in the day that the Yahweh Elohim made the earth and Hashemayim, the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Yahweh Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground, the creative act of Genesis 1, verse 27 described. Verse 7. And the Yahweh Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul, the habitation of unfallen man, and the Edenic covenant. Verse 8. And Yahweh Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made Yahweh Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it was parted and became into four heads. The name of the first is Pison. That is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia, the whole land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And Yahweh Elohim and the Yahweh Elohim took the man and put him into the garden of Eden, to dress it and to keep it. And Yahweh Elohim commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. And Yahweh Elohim said, and the Yahweh Elohim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. And out of the ground Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
And here, Shema, give ear, right here, verse 20, first book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Genesis, Bereishit, Beit, here, for the Shalishi Aliyah, the third reading, the third offering up offering for this Shabbat, Bereishit. Vayikra ha'adam shemot likol ha'beheima ul-of hashamayim ul-kol hayata ha'sadeh Ula Adam lo matzah ezer kenegdo. And the man and Adam gave names, called names. Vayikra ha'adam shemot, to all cattle, likol ha'beheima, and to the fowl of the air, ul-of hashamayim, and to every beast of the field, ul-kol hayata hasadeh. But for Adam, ul-Adam, there was not found, lo matzah, a help meet for him, ezer Kenegdo. And Adam gave names to all cattle and to all fowl of the air and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not found an help meet for him. The method of the creation of woman. Verse 21. And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof, and the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from the man made he a woman, and brought her to the man. Eve, Hawa, Eva, type of the church. Eve, type of the church as bride of Christ, bride of Mashiach. Verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman. She shall be called Isha, because she was taken out of man, because she was taken out of Ish. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and Ishto, his wife, his Isha, and were not ashamed. Hebrew book, first book of Moshe, Hebrew book of Genesis, chapter 3. The temptation of Eve. First, the implied doubt of the benevolence of Elohim. Verse 1. Now the serpent, Hanachash. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahweh Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, Yea, hath Elohim said, Y'all, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? The temptation of Eve. Second, adding to the word of Elohim. Verse 2. And the woman said to Ha-Nahash, to the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim hath said, y'all shall not eat of it, neither shall y'all touch it, lest y'all die. The temptation of Eve, ever. Hawa. Third, the first lie. Verse 4. And Ha-Nahash, and the serpent said to the woman, y'all shall not surely die. The temptation of Eve. Fourth, the appeal to pride. Verse 5. For Elohim doth know that in the day y'all eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and y'all shall be as Elohim, as gods, knowing, knowing good and evil. The temptation of Eve. Fifthly, the fall. Verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also to her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. The seeking Elohim, his Sabbath rest broken, his new work begun. Verse 8. And they heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and Ishto, his wife, hid themselves from the presence, the face of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. And the Yahweh Elohim called to Adam and said to him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee, that thou shouldest not. And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And Yahweh Elohim said to the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, Ha-Nahash, the serpent beguiled me, tricked I. The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. The second, or Adamic covenant. Verse 14. And Yahweh Elohim said to Ha-Nahash, to the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee, I, and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. To the woman, Isha. To the woman, he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And to Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return to the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and to dust shalt thou return. The faith of Adam, verse 20. And Adam called Ishtos, his wife's name, Hawa, because she was the mother of all living. The response of Yahweh Elohim, Jehovah Elohim, to the faith of Adam. Verse 21. To Adam also and to Ishto, his wife, did Yahweh Elohim, Jehovah Elohim, make coats of skins and clothe them. And here, Shema Yisrael, give ear for the Revi'i Aliyah, here for this Shabbat Bereishit, Sabbath in the beginning. This Aliyah, some term this as the Hamishi, the fifth. We term this as the Revi'i, the fourth Aliyah, here for this Shabbat Bereishit. Senbet beMejemmeriya. Why Omer Yahweh Elohim hein ha'adam haya ka'achada mimenu la da'ata tova wa ra'a ve'ata pen yishlach yado ve'lakach gama me'etza ha'chayim ve'akal wa chay le'olam. And Yahweh Jehovah Elohim said, beMejemmeriya Elohim. And Jehovah Elohim said, behold, the man is become as one of us. beMejemmeriya Elohim hein ha'adam haya ka'achada mimenu, to know good and evil, la da'ata tova wa ra'a. And now, lest he put forth his hand, pen yishlach yado, and take also of the tree of life, v'lakach gam me'etza ha'chayim, and eat v'akal, and live forever. Wahai le'olam. The judgment of the expulsion ends the first dispensation. Verse 22. And Yahweh Elohim said, Behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. The second dispensation, conscience. Verse 21. Therefore, Jehovah Elohim, sent him forth from the garden of Eden to till the ground from where he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the Etz Achayim, the tree of life. First book of Moshe, Hebrew book of Genesis chapter 4, the first sons of Adam and Eve, Eva, Hawa. And Adam knew Hawa, Eva, Hawan, Ishto, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Yahuwah. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering to Yahuwah, he who he be, and Abel, he also brought the firstling of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Yahweh had respect to Abel, and to his offering. But to Cain, and to his offering, he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Cain exhorted, even yet to bring a chata'at, a sin offering. And the Yahweh said to Cain, why art thou wroth? Why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance, thy face fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, chatiyat, sin, lieth at the door, and to thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. The first murder, history of Cain, verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. And the Yahweh said to Cain, where is Abel, thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth to me, crieth to I from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield to thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain said to Yahuwah, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, Thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy presence shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that every one that findeth me shall slay me. And Yahweh said to him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Yahweh set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. The first civilization, verse 16. And Cain went out from the presence, from the face of Yahweh, and dwelt in the land of Nod, on the east of Eden. And Cain knew knew his Isha, and Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And to Enoch was born Arad, and Arad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Methusael, and Methusael begat Lamech,
Yes. So here. Usually we go to the first day service, but stay tuned. First day service, but we're going to go straight through right here with the 5th and 6th Aliyah right here. Then we'll move forward to the first day service right here for the Shabbat service. Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
So we have the 5th and 6th Aliyah. Shema. Here.
And here. And here, Gevir. Shema Yisrael. Here, Gevir. For the Hamishi Aliyah. For this Shabbat, Bereishit, Sabbath in the beginning. Here, picking up with Bereishit Dalet, the 4th chapter of Moshe's first book, the first book of Moses, Hebrew book called Genesis. Bereishit Dalet. Here, Genesis chapter 4. Here at verse 19 for the Hamishi Aliyah. 5th reading, the 5th of offering for this Shabbat. Bereishit. Vayikach lo lemek shetei nashim shem ha-achat ada with shem ha-shenit Tzila. And Lamech took to him 2 wives. Vayikach lo Lamech Shitei Nashim. The name of the one was Ada. Shem ha-achat Ada. And the name of the other Zillah. With Shem ha-shenit Tzila. And Lamech took to him 2 Ishas, 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other Zillah. And Ada bare Yabal. He was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken to my speech. For I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. The birth of Seth, the spiritual seed, the spiritual race, the spiritual seed renewed. Verse 25. And Adam knew Ishto, his wife, again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For Elohim, said she, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, who Cain slew. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the Shem the name of Yahweh, Yod-Heh, Weh-Heh, the Yahweh, the Yahweh, the Yahweh. First book of Moshe, Hebrew book of Genesis, Genesis chapter 5. And hear, Shema Yisrael, hear, give ear. Here for the Sheishi Aliyah. Here for the sixth up offering, the sixth reading here for this Shabbat Bereishit. Here, Bereishit, hey. Here at the 5th chapter, the first book of Moses, the Hebrew book that's called Genesis. Zeh Sefer Toldot Adam Biyoma Bero Elohim Adam Bidamut Elohim Asa Oto. This is the book. Zeh Sefer. This is the book. Zeh Sefer. This is the cipher. This is the book. This is the book of the generations of Adam. Zeh Sefer Toldot Adam. In the day that Elohim created man. Biyom Bero Elohim Adam. In the likeness of Elohim. Bia Demuta Elohim. This is the Sefer. This is the book. This is the book of the generations. Zeh Sefer Toldot Adam Biyom Bero Elohim Adam Bia Demuta Elohim Asa Oto. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that Elohim created man, in the likeness of Elohim made he him. Zakara u'anekeba. Bi'ram. Waya barek. Otam. Male and female created he them and blessed them and called their name. Wayikra et Shema Adam Biyom and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness, after his image. and called Shemo his name Seth. And in the days of Adam, after he had begotten Seth, were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. The family of Seth. And Seth lived 105 years and begot Enosh. And Seth lived after he begot Enosh 807 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enosh and Enosh lived 90 years and begot Cainan. And Enosh lived after he begot Cainan 815 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. And Cainan lived 70 years and begot Mahalaleel. And Cainan lived after he begot Mahalaleel 840 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Cainan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalaleel lived 65 years and begot Jared. And Mahalaleel lived after he begat Jared 830 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalaleel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and he begot Hanok, Enoch. And Jared lived after he begot Enoch 800 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. And Enoch walked with Ha-Elohim after he begot Methuselah 300 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Hanok walked with Elohim, and he was not, for Elohim took him.
So here, before we go to the Sunday service, stand by. Hopefully the item can join I. So the Prophet's reading, the Brit Chadasha reading, and some reasoning for the first day service. But here, fulfilling this Shabbat service right here from the Torah reading.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, hear this.
Hear, Shema Yisrael, hear, give ear for the Shavi'i. The Shavi'i, here for the seventh Aliyah, the seventh up offering, seventh reading, here for this Shabbat Bereishit, Sabbath in the beginning. Senbet beMejemmeriya. Here, picking up with the first book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Genesis, picking up with the 5th chapter, Bereishit. Here at verse 25 for the Shavi'i, for the 7th Aliyah. Wayachia metut shelach Shaba'ah Ushmonim shana Uma'ata shana Yoleda eta Lamek. And Methuselah Yachia Metushelach And Methuselah lived, Wayachia Metushelach, 187 years. Wayachia Metushelach Sheva Ushamonim Shana Uma'ata Shana, and begat Lamech. Wayoled eta Lamech. Wayachi Metushelach Shava'a Ushmonim Shana Uma'ata Shana. Wayoleda eta Lamech. 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 Lamech.
And Methuselah lived 187 years and begot Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begot Lamech 782 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years and begot a son. And he called his name Noah, saying, this same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Yahweh hath cursed. And Lamech lived after he begot Noah 595 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. First book of Moses, Hebrew book of Genesis chapter 6. The flood. First item, the marriage of Cainites with Sethites. The marriage of Cainites with Sethites. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, that they were beautiful, and took of them wives of all which they chose. Second item, the warning of Yahweh, of Jehovah, verse 3. And Yahweh said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh. Yet his days shall be 120 years. Third item, the antediluvian civilization, verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the B'nai Elohim, the sons of Elohim, came into the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. Fourth item, the purpose of Yahweh in judgment.
And here for the maftir, for this Shabbat Bereishit, here in the Wow chapter 6, Moshe's first book, the Hebrew book called Genesis chapter 6, for the maftir, for this Shabbat Bereishit, here at verse 5. Wayare Yahweh ki Rabbah ra'ata ha'adam ba'aretz וכל היצר מחשבות ליבו רק רע כל היום. And Yahweh Jehovah saw, Wayare Yahweh, and Jehovah saw, Wayare Yahweh, Kia Rabba Ra'ata Ha'adam Ba'aretz. And Jehovah saw that the wickedness, the ratchetness of man, of Adam was great in the earth. Wayare Yahweh Kia Rabaha Ra'at Ha'adam Ba'aretz. And that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil, continually, itinerally. וכל היצר מחשבות ליבו רק רע כל היום.
Verse 5. And Elohim saw that the wickedness, the ratchetness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Wayare Yahweh ki rabba ra'ata ha'adam ba'aretz וכל היצר מחשבות ליבו רק רע כל היום.
And it repented Yahweh, the Yahweh, that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And Yahweh said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. Fifth item, the purpose of Yahweh in grace, of Jehovah in grace. Verse 8. But Noah found grace in the eyes of Yod-Heh Weh of Yahweh. But Noah found grace in the eyes of he who he be, his divine majesty. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hashem. Thus concludes the Aliyah for the first reading, for the first weekly Torah portion reading and feeding, and I and your Rastafari sabbatical studies for this Shabbat Strong. Kabur le'alu, kabur le'dimtsu, kabur le'chaylu, glory to the word, glory to the sound, glory to the power. Kabur le'abinu, le'melkeinu, le'kedamawi, Haile Selassie Beshem, Yeshua HaMoshiach. Amen. What? Amen. Glory be to I, Father, I, King, the first power of the Trinity, in the name of Yeshua HaMoshiach, in the name of Jesus Christos Getachin. Amen. 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 Amen.
Yes. Just wanted to complete the 7 aliyos there, all in the first broadcast after the Shabbat broadcast right there. Still have the prophets reading, the Haftarah, and the Brit Chadasha. I'm moving forward to the first day service. Hopefully the them can join I. But here we have the Baraka, the blessing after the Torah reading right here. Baruch Ata Adonai, Baruch Ata Yahuwah Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Natan Lanua Torata Emeta Vechaye Olam, Nata Betokein. Baruch Ata Yahuwah Notain HaTorah. Here the bracha after the reading. Right here. Blessed be thee, the I, O Yahweh, he who be, Eloheinu, the Elohim of Anu, I and I, Elohim, Melech HaOlam, King of the universe, or eternal King, Melech HaOlam, who gave to us, to I and I, HaTorah, the Torah of truth, the reality, and said, everlasting, ever living, to time indefinite life in our midst. Blessed be thee, Baruch atah Yahweh, he who be, the giver, notain ha-Torah, the giver of the Torah. Once again, the bracha here, blessing after the Torah reading. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech ha-olam, asher natan lanua Torat emet, v'chaye olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Yahuwah notain ha-Torah. Right here. Yes, I.
Man, stand his plan. All he needs to do is follow the spirit, which is legit. That is how we'll all grow. Know him, Elohim.
Yes. I don't know if I showed the eye on the screen right there. We're about to restart, so the item up, those are the few chosen few in attendance. Please join out for the first day service. I don't know if I showed the eye that's on the screen. I was reading it, but here, just to see it once again. The baraka after the Torah reading. Baruch, reading from right hand to left. Baruch atah Adonai, some say. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam, nata b'tokeinu. Baruch atah Yahuwah notain ha-Torah. Blessed be the I, Yahuwah, I, Elohim, Melech HaOlam, eternal King, King of the universe, universal King, who gave us the Torah of truth, the Torah reality and set of a living life to time indefinite, right? Life in our midst. Blessed be the I, Baruch atah Yahuwah, he who be. Notain, the giver, notain ha-Torah. All together again. Some say Baruch atah Adonai. We say Baruch atah Yahuwah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chaye olam, nata b'tokeinu. Baruch atah Yahuwah notain ha-Torah. Right here. So moving forward, the first day service, yes. Shavua Tov, Shavua, the week to come, the strong to come, Tov. Give I and I about 3 minutes, no more than 5 minutes. It's a reboot. We're here for the first day service. Have the Berit Chadasha, New Covenant reading coming up. But first, we have the prophets. So beginning with Moshe, right here. Yes, Chazak, Onit Chazek.
You know we are Israelites. You know we are Israelites.
John and I, right here, the rebooted for the first day service, It was after the Shabbat service, first day service, moving forward into new Shavua, right here. Just stay tuned. Refresh the page, the reboot. We should be on just now. Give thanks. John and I, first day service coming forward. Have a good first day. The Yom HaRishon, first day, Tov, Shabua, the strong, Tov. Yes, I, Rastafari. John I and I. Yes, I.